The Kitten family went for a stroll on the ship's deck, little Alice tugging at his shirt with a big grin. "Daddy, look!" Bella, the stepsister, shot Alice a sharp glare. A little plan was already spinning inside her head. Her eyes gleamed with jealousy. "Let's see who's smiling now." Thud. She gave Alice a hard push with her foot. She put on a mask of panic, clutching her chest and shouting, "Dad! Mom! Alice!" She fell into the water. Alice drifted deeper into the clear blue ocean, the ship's deck growing smaller above her, but instead of crying, she looked around in wonder. Alice was happily splashing when suddenly a shadow loomed over her. A huge fin sliced through the water. The giant shark swam closer, but instead of snapping its jaws, it gave a gentle smile. "Don't be afraid, little one. I won't hurt you." Alice held on tight to the shark's big fin as it swished its tail and darted forward. Alice waved with a bright smile. "Thank you so much. I'll never forget this journey." The shark gave a kind grin and swished its tail. Alice crouched by the fire, eyes shining, turning the fish carefully. She took a big bite, grinning ear to ear as if this was the best feast ever. With her tummy full, Alice let out a big yawn. The tiny fire crackled beside her, spreading warmth on the cool sand. She spotted some driftwood and an old rope tangled on the rocks. Alice started tying the logs together, knot by knot. But suddenly the wind howled. The sky darkened, heavy clouds rolling in. Huge waves rose up, slamming hard against the tiny raft. The waves slammed down, tossing Alice onto the wet sandy shore. She coughed and sputtered, dripping wet but safe. The rain hadn't stopped, and the road home was muddy and wet. Alice hugged herself tight, each tiny step feeling heavy. After a long, weary walk, Alice finally spotted her familiar home glowing through the rain. Warm light spilled from inside, so inviting. Without a second thought, he scooped her up into his arms, holding her tight. Tears from both father and daughter mixed with the raindrops still falling. Bella was just passing by the porch when she suddenly froze. The scene before her made her jump in shock. Father Cat was hugging Alice tightly. Out on the rainy porch, Bella flinched as his gaze locked onto her like a sharp blade. "Bella, you pushed your sister into the water?" Father Cat, burning with anger, shoved the stepmother and Bella into the rainy street, their belongings scattered, forbidding them ever to return. That evening, Daddy Cat led Peggy and little Bella into their cozy, warm home. Alice's eyes sparkled and her tail wagged nonstop. Alice shouted happily, "Hi, Aunt Peggy! Hi, Bella! Yay, now our house has more people!" Alice and Bella ran around the room, laughing as they chased each other. Their giggles and footsteps filled the cozy home. Daddy Cat and Peggy stood side by side, watching Alice and Bella laugh and play on the soft rug. The whole house was filled with cheerful giggles. At first, Bella giggled like it was just a silly prank. But then, her playful grin slowly twisted into something darker, an evil glint in her eyes. After a while of laughing together, Bella started coming up with some not-so-nice tricks. Peggy walked over and wrapped her arms around both Alice and Bella, but her eyes glanced sideways. Fake. Not real at all. Daddy Cat stood a few steps away, watching. He smiled brightly, believing everyone was finally getting along. One afternoon, Peggy was cooking a big pot of soup in the kitchen. "Alice, dear, can you watch the soup for me?" Alice nodded obediently. Alice heard the soup bubbling loudly and hurried over to check it, but just Bella rushed in and shoved her hard to the side. Making sure no one was watching, she grabbed the salt jar from the table and secretly dumped a handful into the boiling soup. That evening, Daddy Cat took the first sip. The moment the soup touched his tongue, "Goodness, why is it so salty?" Bella quickly jumped in. "Dad, Alice was the one watching the pot. I saw her messing around. She must have added too much salt." Tears spilled down Alice's cheeks as she burst out crying. With no one believing her, she covered her face and ran straight out the door. Alice trudged down the empty street. Raindrops pattered down, soaking through her soft white fur and chilling her to the bone. After walking in the cold rain, Alice's stomach growled loudly with hunger. She stopped in front of a bakery. Alice was still pressing her face to the glass when a shopman came out. He frowned and waved her paw. "Go away, don't block the store." Hungry, Alice dug in the trash and found a soggy piece of bread. Suddenly, a big dog growled and charged at her. Alice panicked, running as she cried. The rain poured down, shivering. She hugged her knees and whispered through her tears, "I wish Daddy was here with me." Inside the warm kitchen, Bella sat close to Peggy, grinning slyly. "Mom, I poured the salt in the soup." Everyone thinks Alice did it. Just as Peggy and Bella were whispering, Daddy Cat stood at the kitchen door. Every word reached his ears. Unable to hold back his fury, Daddy Cat roared, "Get out! I won't allow lies in this home any longer," shoving Peggy and Bella out into the cold, wet night. After driving Peggy and Bella out, Daddy Cat rushed into the stormy night. He ran, shouting at the top of his lungs, "Alice! Where are you? Alice!" Through the pouring rain, Daddy Cat suddenly spotted a soggy cardboard box by the roadside. He rushed over, his heart racing. Daddy Cat held shivering Alice tightly, his voice breaking. "I'm sorry. I didn't believe you. I let you suffer alone on the empty street." Their warmth and love chased away all the sadness. Don't rush to believe accusations, because the truth always takes time to reveal itself. Inside the lively classroom, Alice and her friends sit together, nibbling on their snacks while chattering away. When her turn arrives, the teacher gently hands Alice her treat, and her little face lights up with delight. Holding the snack tightly, she eats with pure joy, her cheerful grin spreading warmth throughout the room. Out of nowhere, a stabbing pain strikes her stomach. Her eyes flare with an eerie purple glow, and she collapses onto her chair. Consumed by unbearable hunger, Alice leaps onto the desk, grabbing every bite she can find and devouring it all. Screaming wildly, she bursts into the hallway, chomping through and smashing everything in her path. Her body balloons to a monstrous size, shaking the building until the walls crumble into ruins. Horrified, the teacher, pale as paper, grabs the alarm and rings it over and over in panic. Police rush into the chaos, casting thick nets over Alice, hoping to restrain her thrashing form. But with a thunderous roar, Alice tears through the ropes, strands whipping apart as officers freeze in disbelief. At home, Ethan stares at the TV, horrified when his daughter's towering image flashes across the news. He bolts from the house in terror, determined to save Alice, while Peggy lingers by the door, arms folded, smirking coldly. In Peggy's eyes, Alice's reflection flickers from the television, and her lips curl into a sinister grin. Through crowded streets filled with blaring horns, Ethan clutches his toolbox, gasping for air as he races forward. Upon arrival, he freezes in shock, watching Alice rampage and rip apart the school she once loved. Studying her closely, he notices a strange purple shimmer pulsing inside her belly. Clenching his fists, Ethan racks his brain, desperate to figure out how to rescue his daughter before it's too late. Without pause, he unpacks his bag and straps on his trusted gear, preparing for the fight ahead. Gripping cracked walls, he climbs steadily upward through the collapsing structure. With a mighty push, Ethan hurls himself into the gaping mouth of his roaring child. Inside, he finds suffocating darkness, slimy walls pressing against him as he forces himself deeper. In the gloom, a strange piece of glowing purple cake catches his eye. Reaching out, he strains to lift the luminous fragment from within Alice's body. Clutching the piece, Ethan leaps out of her mouth and hurls it far away. Alice writhes in agony, her enormous frame twisting as she shrinks back into her small, weakened self. Ethan rushes to her side, scooping his daughter into his trembling arms. His heart pounds wildly, yet relief floods his eyes as he realizes Alice is safe again. Just as he prepares to leave, the teacher dashes over, shoving her phone toward him with urgency. On the screen, a video shows Peggy slyly switching Alice's snack for the glowing purple one. Enraged by the revelation, Ethan dials the police with shaking hands and a furious voice. Officers storm Peggy's house, cuffing her swiftly and ending her wicked scheme. Behind cold metal bars, Peggy collapses, sobbing bitterly, clutching her head in despair. Carrying Alice close, Ethan walks the familiar road home, seeking peace after the nightmare. In the ruined schoolyard, a janitor spots a strange purple shard and carelessly tosses it into a trash bin decorated with a Roblox dinosaur. On the way home, Ethan halts suddenly as a purple glow flares behind him, making both father and daughter glance back in fear. From the bin, the Roblox dinosaur grotesquely transforms into a colossal beast, roaring so loudly the ground trembles. Confronted with the monstrous sight, Ethan and Alice exchange a helpless laugh, at a loss for words.